Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we will continue to focus on the World Cup. As you know, the World Cup kicks off in about a week's time, and we are going to be looking at today we are going to be doing something a bit different. Some of the big teams in world football have failed to qualify for the World Cup, and so today we're going to be looking at one of those teams, Italy, who have once again failed to make it to the finals of the World Cup. And we are going to be looking at what could have gone wrong for them and how the future is set for Italy, a team of their pedigree in World Cup football. To be missing the World Cup finals is really a disaster for them. So we'll just jump into that right now and let's see what we will come up with as we look at the Italians and their failure to qualify for the World Cup finals in North America. For decades, the Italian national football team, known as the Azzurri, stood among the giants of world football. With 4 FIFA World Cup titles, Italy remains one of the most successful nations in football history. But in recent years, the story has changed dramatically. And the question we are left with is, how did a country that produced legends, the likes of Dino Zoff, Roberto Baggio, Paolo Maldini, Andrea Pirlo, Alessandro Del Piero, Francesco Totti, Franco Baresi, Fabio Cannavaro, Gianluigi Buffon, and so many others, how could that country go from World Cup champions to repeatedly missing football's biggest tournament? It is indeed puzzling. Italy won its first FIFA World Cup in 1934 on home soil when they defeated Czechoslovakia in the final. They repeated their victory 4 years later by successfully defending their crown in France, becoming the first team to win consecutive World Cups under the same coach, the legendary Vittorio Pozzo. Their next World Cup triumph came in 1982, and they were led in this by top scorer in the World Cup in Paolo Maldini. By this time, Dino Zoff was also captain in the team, and this Italian team, though not spectacular, they were solid and they did what needed to be done, and they conquered the world in '82 when they defeated West Germany 3-1 in the finals. Paolo Rossi, he ended the tournament as top scorer and best player, and it should be noted that on their way to that World Cup title, they knocked out arguably the best team to ever grace a World Cup stage. And that is the opinion of many, including myself. That Brazilian team, led by Socrates and featuring the likes of Eder, Falcao, Zico, were the toast of the tournament, and their champagne football flowed. Well, until the Italians, led by Paolo Rossi's hat-trick, combined with some suicidal Brazilian defending, crashed that party in dramatic fashion. So Italy has demonstrated on the international stage that they are a quality team. Then came 2006 when they again lifted the title, and this time they did it under coach Marcelo Lippi, one of Italy's greatest ever coaches. They navigated that tournament with a rock solid defense led by Italian great Fabio Cannavaro, with Buffon in goal and Andrea Pirlo marshalling that midfield. The Azzurri defeated France on penalties in the final to lift their fourth World Cup trophy. This final will forever be remembered for that Zidane headbutt on Marco Materazzi, resulting in an early shower for the French general. To be honest, I think Materazzi deserved that headbutt, but Zidane should have been a little bit more circumspect. After all, it is the World Cup final, and you are your talismanic player for your team. So getting sent off did not help the French in that one. But following the 2006 triumph, Italy's performances at the World Cup has declined significantly. In 2010, the defending champions failed to win a match and were eliminated in the group stage. 4 years later, they again exited in the group stage in Brazil. The real shock came in 2018 when Italy failed to qualify for the World Cup after losing a playoff to Sweden. It was their first World Cup absence since 1958. That nightmare was to continue into 2022 when they were stunned by North Macedonia in another playoff semi-final and again ended up missing a second consecutive World Cup. Even after winning the 2021 Euros, it was clear that Italian football was in trouble. And the Azzurri, despite the fact that they have produced some excellent players during this barren period, players such as Barella and Donnarumma, they stand out as truly world class players, while they have produced other players such as Moise Keane, Federico Chiesa, Jorginho, Alessandro Bastoni, who have all showed flashes of brilliance, but in the end, they have been in decline since 2006 when they last won the World Cup. And this is now their third missed World Cup in a row. That is not what you expect from one of world football's elite teams. But what could have been causing all of this up and down, chaos, missed World Cups? One of the things that has contributed has been the constant managerial merry-go-round. That has not helped. And they have seen Antonio Conte, Roberto Mancini, Luciano Spalletti, and latest Gennaro Gattuso have all come in and out the managerial door since 2015. That does not spell for consistency. It does not spell for continuity. It does not spell for stability, and that has manifested itself on the field and in the results. Many believe that the state of Italy's domestic league has played a significant role in the national team's decline. And in that analysis, they are not wrong. For decades, Serie A was considered the strongest league in the world. And for those of us old enough to remember when Serie A was the king of world football, that is a statement that will stand up anywhere. Italian clubs developed world class players at every point on the field. They were world class tacticians, they were solid, and young Italian players regularly earned opportunities at major clubs. In addition, the best players in the world graced Italian stadia on a weekly basis. The South American duo of Diego Maradona and the Brazilian Careca led Napoli to their first two Scudetto titles in 1987 and 1990. French greats Michel Platini, Zidane, Lilian Thuram have all turned out for Juventus, as have Czech great Pavel Nedved and Dutch great Edgar Davids, who have also suited up for Juventus. And how can we forget the AC Milan and their Dutch trio of Ruud Gullit, Frank Rijkaard, and Marco van Basten, who dominated in the 1990s. In addition, their team also featured great Brazilians such as Cafu and Kaká, and then there was the Germans at Inter Milan, featuring World Cup winners Lothar Matthäus, Andrea Bremer, and Jürgen Klinsmann. There was also another famous German who showed up for Inter, Matthias Sammer. In addition, there were excellent legends who played for Inter Milan, and these are household names: Ronaldo from Brazil, Chilean legend Ivan Zamorano, Portuguese legend Luis Figo, Dutch legend Dennis Bergkamp, and other great players such as Samuel Eto'o and Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and the legendary Argentine Javier Zanetti have all worn the black and blue of Inter. Fiorentina turned out one of the greatest ever superstar goal scorers in world football, none other than Mr. Batigol himself. Gabriel Batistuta from Argentina. As I said before, Syria was the best league in the world, and the best players in the world played in Syria. What has happened? In recent years, Italian clubs have moved away from player development, which was critical back in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. And they are now more focused on instant success. And that has happened to the detriment of the Italian national team. This is systemic. And as a result, the following things have taken place. More clubs are relying more heavily on foreign players, many of whom are mediocre, and but they are taking up spots in teams that would have normally gone to young Italian players developing their craft, breaking through into the national team. As a result, these young Italian players are receiving fewer opportunities, thus stunting their development into world class players. And we have seen that manifest itself in the quality of players representing Italy over the last 15 years. Youth development systems have not evolved quickly enough. Structural issues within Italian football administration have also made the footballing quality of the national team head in the wrong direction. And there's also been a real failure to modernize football infrastructure and academies in in Italy. My bad. See, we can therefore be left with one conclusion. Italy's story is one of football's greatest contrast. A nation that has conquered the world on four separate occasions now finds itself fighting to return to sport's biggest stage. The talent still exists, and the passion of Italian football remains unmatched. But unless significant reforms are made in youth development, infrastructure, and player pathways, the Azzurri may continue to struggle to match the achievements of their glorious past. That is how I feel about it. And if you feel any different, and if you think that they have done anything different and can do anything different, let me know in the comments. How do you think Italy return to the top? What do they need to do to return to the top? Let me know in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, keep playing.